Hello.
Don't want no spare change or handout. I see that everywhere I go. Want you to reach right in your conscience, baby, and give me everything I'm owed. I'm talking about them reparations, reparations. Oh, honey, give me all my money, money. Reparations, reparations. Give me everything you owe. Reparations, reparations for all them years of frustrations. This is the freaking Reparations Show.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for all of the support that you've given to the Reparations Show over the past few weeks. This week is not a live show. This week we are taking a break. With the deaths of Chadwick Boseman and Randall Keenan and the shooting of Jacob Blake, we all just sort of want to take care of ourselves, and so we're going to take a little break. But we'll be back next week, and we will be live. Tonight, we are going to bring you some of our favorite clips from the past 10 weeks of doing this show, and we hope that you enjoy them all. First, I want to say, let's see, who do I want to introduce you to first? Yes. On Christina Pitter's show, it was a panel discussion. It was the first time on the Reparations Show that it was just a panel discussion, and it was great. And Jillian Walker and Star Busby said some amazing things about self-care that we wanted to share with you. So here they are.
I think it can be, I know, I'll speak for myself. I can get into my head where I'm picturing my spiritual friends, in their apartments, like floating around in robes, like, just like living and sure, like sometimes, but I also want to talk about how the slowdown has brought up light it up here we go.
This is my robe. I'm here for you.
It's brought up tremendous, for me, ancestral terror, like the lack of having so much space to be with myself, to potentially reflect on things. Some days I can't get to it. Like I can't do that every day, and I wouldn't ask that of myself every day because it's a lot. And truly years. I think we've all been in the city now for some time, so it's just been years of like move.
Yep.
Even in those times when I felt like I wasn't doing anything, I've really been able to see how much I've done. And I'm really proud of everything I've done, but also, wow, like I really haven't, I haven't stopped moving for over a decade.
Woo!
So there's a lot of, for me, there's a lot of terror that's brought up of like, what do I do now as well?
Yeah. Star,
Well, yeah, I mean, I did also want to say, like, I am not successful every day at like being in my spiritually lifted, like if some days I like, it's not cute. There are definitely some days, I mean, like just like a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, I think I was like severely depressed for a while, and I didn't know. Like, for real, I was like, oh yes. I literally like have, I like want to go back to some folks and be like, I'm so sorry about how I behaved. I was really depressed. I had no idea. Like, but for real, because but even that realization is like painful. I don't know if I necessarily registered as pain as much as it's just like, yikes. It's like when you want to say, I'm mindful. I'm a mindful person. Like I'm aware, I'm sensitive, I'm spiritually, I'm tapped in. It's like, and I miss that I was fully depressed. And, not but and I miss this moment inside of my spiritual awareness. Was I still able to move through my life and like bring healing and bring, peace and restoration to certain spaces and energies? Like, sure. And I was depressed because it's like, it's really allowing and accepting for me, like the position, which I feel is like a part of my soul contracted. And I think everyone is just like being a vessel. It's like, I am yes, I am an energy, an entity unto myself, but there are things that I'm literally just here to like transmit. And that's what I do. Like I can't, and part of that was like, it's also helped me release a lot of anxiety around like being an artist. It's like, I have to make art. If I'm not making enough art, if I'm not in enough shows, if I'm not showing up at this and that, then like people will stop thinking that I'm an artist. That is complete and utter
bullshit.
white supremacist capitalist bullshit. That is what that is. I am an artist. I make things. That is simply what I do. Even if I was like, I'm not doing that anymore, it would be a lie. Because I create. I sing, I write, I move, I speak. It is just who I am. So there's never going to be a time where I'm not that, because that is simply who I am. Even in my like haziness, because I'm depressed or because I'm distracted, because I'm like deeply anxious and I don't know it because I'm so busy trying to like keep up appearances to my goddamn self in my house.
I loved that moment in the show. When we're doing the show, we all are sitting backstage in a virtual green room and typing in the chat and saying great things about it. And when Star Busby went in, I was saying, yes, 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 say that. It was really great. Next up, I want to bring you a trailer made by Jada Grey Eagle, and she was featured in our last episode of the Reparations show, which was hosted by the brilliant Marissa Carr. The theme was Land Back, and she featured 3 indigenous artists. The trailer that we're going to show is a trailer from a documentary film made by Jada Grey Eagle called Sisters Rising.
What if a woman is getting raped or beat and she's screaming? How many times have you heard where nobody called 911? Nobody did anything.
When I was about 2 years old, I started seeing my mom getting beaten. I seen her crying a lot. I seen her sexually assaulted.
One drove, 2 held her down, and 4th one raped her. They knew they were coming here to hunt. They knew they were going to come here and rape with impunity because they can.
Racism, it's ever present in the lives of Native women. Predators are attracted to them. They see her and they think safe victim.
The oil industry brought the workers, the transients, the man camps.
1 year ago, there were 48 registered sex offenders. Now there are over 600 registered sex offenders.
2 men basically were branding these young women with these tattoos saying, you're our property.
You have a huge influx of men who feel entitled to money and resources and women. There's an assumption that Native bodies and Native land are open for anyone.
If you are a tribal woman and you were raped on Native land, tribes don't have any authority over that perpetrator if he's a non-Indian, even if he's your husband.
Tribes can't prosecute most non-Indians for things they do to Native women on the reservation.
We have mothers who call local county sheriff's departments reporting their daughters missing only to be told, we have better things to do with our time.
The federal system simply has ignored Native women. They are the responders and they don't respond. It's almost like Native women are rapeable because there's not going to be any accountability.
Don't women on tribal lands deserve their constitutional right of equal protection? Ain't they women?
Choose a side. My aim becomes healing and helping women realize just how strong they are.
I know what that fear is. I know how it grips you. I want to bring them to justice.
Tribal sovereignty is integral to ending rape, and at the same time, ending rape is integral to tribal sovereignty.
These are human rights violations. Only human beings can fix this issue by creating social change.
I'm not going to be beaten down. This isn't where I end. This isn't where I stop my life.
That's where the revolution is going to happen, when those women are transformed.
There's only a few of us that speak out and then, oh, they're radical. Are we really radical, or are we just trying to get out the truth?
One of my favorite moments was having my brother on and sharing a video of him rapping something that he wrote. He's very talented. He doesn't do that much anymore as a stay-at-home dad, so I was happy to give him a platform. And I love that he mentioned in the interview that he is steeped in the courage of his convictions, and I have stolen that, and I use that in my vocabulary now.
Hip hop and spoken word artist. He's a recording artist, a husband, a father, entrepreneur, culinary innovator, and truly one of the smartest people that I know.
Forgive my scattered thoughts on this page. It's just my heart's full of rage and shit. But I'll try to maintain as I'm raising my fist. October 27th, 1986. That's the year after MJ had dropped his first kicks. The second year the Ewing played ball for the Knicks. New federal drug laws got thrown up in the mix. We ain't stand a chance, and that's exactly what the play was. To paint us as the root of the problem so they could cage us. Kept pushing they dope and they narratives. They ask us where the parents is, a problem we ain't create but inherited. September 13th, 1994. 2 years after Rodney King asked, can we get along? 2 years before the Black Mamba made it to the league, they waged another war wearing suits with flag pins instead of fatigues. The 94 crime bill, just trying to out-tough Reagan. Fast forward 20 years, now addicts are worth saving. It's been a knee on our neck. Take a look at education. We make our way to your schools, you take a permanent vacation, and I still can't breathe. Remember Eric Garner? All I see is rotten apples. If you can't correct your partner, fuck Till. Remember Emmett Till? How we sitting still on an anti-lynching bill? They killed Dr. King because of his economic angles, and no disrespect to Jada, but I could give a fuck about your entanglement. It's almost August. We need justice now for Breonna Taylor. Fuck them cops, fuck the DA, fuck the governor and the mayor. Another day, another brother or a mother to mourn. I'm gone. I'm out of patience and paper.
First favorite moment was being able to create the Reparations theme song with Kevin R. Free and being able to work with Kevin. Also being able to collaborate again with my friend Michael Michelle Lynch.
When you hear what I'm gonna say, sure you won't be able to turn your head away. 'Cause what I'm gonna talk about, nobody wants to be without. It makes no difference who you are or what color you happen to be, as long as you're alive and breathing. This has got to be one of your needs. I'm talking about freedom. for you and me. When you see the birds fly in the sky, I'm sure you have to say, my, oh my. And all the waters in the river so deep, oh how it flows so free. Yeah. Makes no difference who you are or what color you happen to be. Yes, long as you're alive and breathing, this has got to be one of your needs. Yeah. And it makes no difference who you are or what color you happen to be. As long as you're alive and breathing, this got to be one of your needs. I'm talking about freedom for you and me. Everything it brings, every little thing, everything that breathes, every little thing, everything that breathes.
Favorite moment for me would be, I'd say, the little cooking segment that I did with Vernee Norman. That was pretty it was fun, it was interactive, and it was dope to see her make what she made. She made an eggplant pizza that I actually really want.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for having me and everything like that. I hope this is well worth it. I made one of my favorite recipes. Favorite as in, I just kind of made it up like 2 weeks ago, and it's been my favorite thing to eat. So I love it. Whenever you guys are ready, I'll take the video and then I'll just start walking you guys through it. It's about 8 minutes of delicious. I hope it's easy to follow. It's really eggplant pizza. So what you see on the screen here is a meal that serves about 4 people for $30. I went to Trader Joe's. I got all of the ingredients that you'll see in a minute. Costs about $30. That includes the all the ingredients for the eggplant pizza on the right, and then we also have the mushroom truffle focaccia bread, and then a nice spring salad. So if you want to entertain the people and you're just looking for a quick meal and kind of want to impress them, I'd say this is a really good way to go. So super, super simple. Basically, on the left, you have everything to make the pizza, and then on the right, we have all the seasoning that's really going to go in the sauce. Super simple. So we have the eggplant, grape tomatoes, our cheeses, and then these are our seasonings right here. And I'm really big on onions and garlic, and so you'll see that I use 2 heads of garlic for no reason other than that I love onions. I love garlic, and it really goes hard. So preheated the oven at 425, and then we're just going to prep our eggplant right here. So for the eggplant slices, you're going to cut them about 2 fingers wide and then just go down. I like to make sure that I get a nice wide eggplant because that gives you a lot of room to work with when you're putting more toppings on. And it just kind of presents better. It's not as hard to, I don't know, get stuff on it. So here I am just slicing it down. I use 2 eggplants for this and for this recipe. As you see, just drizzling some olive oil on here. And it looks kind of awkward, like how am I, these are the most awkward slices to use in a bowl. But I don't need it coated entirely. I just kind of want it lightly coated because if you put too much oil on it, it becomes soggy. So just put some oil on it. And then you're going to just drop them on a pan. I like to use foil on my baking sheet because when you put the cheese on it, it's going to melt. If it kind of comes off, putting the foil just makes it a bit easier to clean up later on. Putting black pepper on it right now, I don't really measure my spices. I just do what I want. So on this one, I just kind of put a bunch of black pepper. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to put it in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes to bake. Now my favorite part of the whole meal, and I think one part that really brings out all of the juicy flavors is the onions and garlic. You'll see with the onions, I'm slicing it. That's because I want a different texture. I didn't dice it because I kind of want the onions to hug all the different ingredients that are going in the sauce. So I will be dicing a few other things, but onions I like to slice and then just provide just some different texture. So we're gonna start them in our oil. And just let those start kind of cooking down. You're gonna put those on low heat. And then just right here, I have 2 heads of garlic. I like to crush it. I want it kind of chunky. I want a nice chunky garlic sauce. I crush them and then I just start dicing them down. Not too fine. I still want them nice and chunky and stuff, but I just want to get them down in there. I don't put cooking spray on the foil. That's just it's just enough with the oil that we put in there. So I don't put cooking spray on the oil. But here is, okay, does anybody else love onions and garlic simmering? Like, does anybody else know what that smells like? It's my favorite smell. I could go, I made this, I was like, you know what, we just gonna let this sit. Let's just, we're gonna watch that cook. So after, you're gonna get that on the stove and then we're gonna bring out the eggplant. Here I'm just going to show you the texture. If you put too much oil on this is another reason not to oil the baking sheet. It's going to get soggy. So this was in for the same amount of time. If you see, I'm just coming off with some oily residue right there. But when I come back to this one, it's not as soggy. So that's why you don't want to add so much oil to it. I love to use grape tomatoes for sauces because they're plump, they're juicy. They're more like self-contained joy. Like if you have like Roma tomatoes, they're not as kind of chalky. Because they're not always in season and stuff. So I like to use Roma tomatoes. I like to use grape tomatoes because they're juicy, they're cute. Look at them, they're so happy to be here. And they're just gonna go make friends with the onions and garlic. So the last thing, the first time I made this recipe, I used dried basil, which is totally fine, but this fresh basil really kind of took it over the top. And once again, all of these ingredients, everything that you'll see, including the focaccia, flatbread and then the salad, that all cost $30. So it's super cheap. It's not hard to cook well and impress people. So, and you'll see a lot of things that I'm doing right here are prep. And so if you want to prep this ahead of time, it's easy to like pop in the oven right when it's ready to go. I like to crush my basil and any herbs. If you crush them before you chop them, you're going to kind of release some of the aromatic flavor. You're just kind of getting them like ready and excited for stuff to go. So here we have our sauce. Look at that sauce. And so this is a fresh basil dropping in. It's all going to cook down. When you all dump it in, you know, it's kind of, it's not all, they're not all friends yet and everything like that. But when I like to add water actually to my sauces and then I'll simmer them down. I'll let the water, I'll like turn the heat up a little bit and then I evaporate it just so that it gets a bit more time to kind of meld and like come together. I do actually, especially for, actually quite often for a lot of dishes, I often use olive oil to season. Oil is a good way to carry flavor for stuff. So I don't want to put it on the eggplant once again, but you do want to put it in the sauce. Here I'm adding some sugar and salt to the sauce. Tomatoes are acidic, and so when I use fresh tomatoes or any even canned tomatoes, I'll make sure I add a little bit of sugar just to kind of try and balance that out. You don't need to, but that's just a personal preference that I have. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll kind of get to them as I go. But once again, we're going to let everything sit down together, and this is just kind of bringing everything together with just mashing it so that it can all just be a bit more smooth. And you'll see at the end, it's going to be, you see it's like chunky. It's like a really chunky texture that we have. So when you get your mozzarella, you're going to use 2 cheeses. One is a slice. It's a fresh sliced mozzarella. That one you want to make sure you get sliced. It's just easier. It'll make your life easier. You can usually find them sliced. You're just going to place them on the eggplant. The eggplant has been chilling for a bit because the sauce is what stayed the longest. If you make the sauce ahead of time, it's super easy to just like pop the eggplant in the oven and then kind of put it on top. So once you get the eggplant out of the oven, and this has the melted mozzarella on it, you're just gonna, my sauce is a little bit saucy, like because I put all that water in it. So I'm just making sure that I drain it out, because what we really want are, we don't really want that water. We'll have to put in the tomatoes and everything like that. If you do, I see we have some people wanting to use wine in the stock instead of water. That sounds delicious. That sounds awesome. That sounds really good. It's not something I tried, but if you try it, let me know. That I'd like to keep costs down, so personally that would bring up the cost, like just generally speaking. But if you want to do that, I mean, it's totally fine. But yeah, so I finished off with some shredded white cheese. Trader Joe's has this like Toscano pizza topping and everything like that. And you'll see, once again, I wanted to drain the water because there's a lot of water that comes off from the mozzarella. It's going to be it's so good. Let me tell you, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. But so once that's done, these are the sides that I have. Once again, everything from Trader Joe's. So this is flatbreads in their frozen section, and then the salads, of course, in their produce section. Then this is how it kind of comes out. So this is, once again, $30 for about a meal to serve 4 people. So if you want to do some entertaining or anything, this is it sounds impressive. You're like, look at this meal I made. It's like a light eggplant parmesan or eggplant parmigiani or anything like that. It's also keto if you take out the flatbread that has like the carbs and stuff in it. But this is keto if you're looking for that. And it's just super, super healthy. It's pretty easy, and it keeps well. Like, I thought this was actually going to get soggy, but I actually like it a little better the second day because I'll usually have like some leftover sauce. Oh my gosh. It's so easy to warm up. You put the sauce on top. It's perfect. It's like one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite recipes that I've like concocted over the last few months. I was gonna say weeks, but I was like, no, we've been in quarantine or whatever this is for like months, months at this time. So that's what I've been up to, is just cooking, doing lots of fun. This is I use the base for a recipe, but then I make the sauce, and I'd say most of the flavor comes from the sauce. So
for me to have DDM as my guest and to have him through the entire show, he's a very talented musician and performer. He's funny. He's extremely political. And if you haven't ever heard the Secretary of Shade read and comment on the political books that come out, you've missed out.
I ain't got time for no he say, she say. Yo, call this bitch. Can you call this bitch? Call the bitch.
Which bitch? I don't know how to respond to that.
He say, she say, he say. Hold up. She say, he say, she say. Keller, got a cake baking for all you ugly bitches. And when I say bitches, that's gender non-specific. I got big boobs, cause I don't like going to the gym. Bitch, I gotta watch my shows. Housewives coming on at 10. Truck full of ammo. Left hand chock full of stones like Thanos. Bump stock on the handle. If a nigga want more, then he better wear camo. All these imposters checking the stuff in my pasta. Yeah, man, got that look like he play for my team. Might wanna check your roster. He say, she say, he say. Hold up. She say, he say, she say. He say, she say. I ain't got time for no he say, she say. She say, he say. I ain't got time for no he say, she say. You been talking trash. Now you on my list. Put your big old mouth on my big old dick. Big old rocks on my big old wrist. Bitch, I'ma throw down. It's a showcase showdown. They see my drip, now they checking the faucet. I can't do shit till you got that deposit. Your bitch on my dick and you hurt. Missing my kids like an Amber Alert. I hit like a tag team. Beat a nigga face like a drag queen. Cause they can give combo. High heel kick to your body in a bando. He say, she say, he say. Hold up. She say, he say, she say. He say, she say. I ain't got time for no he say, she say. She say, he say. I ain't got time for no he say, she say. I ain't got time for no he say, say, she say. I ain't got time for no he say, she say.
My favorite thing about hosting the Reparations show was that it gave me a creative opportunity that I had not had ever. Of course, while bringing some wonderful artists to showcase or discuss their work and their passions, we also got to showcase our own work. And I didn't really have anything that I could put on this platform legally. So I had to do some makeshift creating. It was so much fun to enlist my friends, Jennifer Fouché and Kevin are free, to do some scenes for my plays. But it was even more fun for me to perform with myself, singing a duet as two different characters, and editing that piece and just putting it together was something I had never done before and something I can't wait to do again, over and over again. It's my new thing.
I caught it stealing. She don't steal. She taking, I don't give things back. There's a difference. Her misperception amplifies our lack. I've been dealing with these feelings for so long, I'm thrown off track. I miss the fun of one-on-one. We could team up again. He muses for the next Dominic Dunn. The fence cried wolf, spiting the fact that I'd outgrown my need for him. Said I'd fail, come crawling back, mourning my prospects growing dim. But her crimes only got greater, while his life grew ever grim. I'm overdue for something new. If not now, maybe change will come in 1982. The wanted poster at my good government job. My coworkers begged to know if I still knew the jewelry snob. For the first time in my sorry life, I wasn't just a slob. Knowing you has been the glue. I need some time to suss this out and think this through. He don't deserve my damn forgiveness for betraying me way back then. Should I forsake me the thrill of teaming up with him again? He gives me such a rise I never get from other men. You may not say I'm gay. I did not see this coming, but I better not delay. This isn't done. To you I'll run. Can I tell a chick I love her in 1981.
I have been a fan of Greg LeCun for a while now. He's one of the newest New York neo-futurists. I've heard his raps like in the show, and I've seen a couple of his videos, but I hadn't seen all of them. And one of the ones that we showed on the show, I actually hadn't seen before. So just seeing just what like the range that he has as far as like imagery and the absurd is so much fun, and I love discovering those new depths in my friends and colleagues.
If you take this song seriously, you're a fucking idiot.
I'm a racist.
Like, seriously. Like, don't bitch at me when you hear the song. You're like, oh my god, he's so offensive. Like, oh my god, like, he's saying, no, like,
It's a beautiful day to be a racist. Isn't America the greatest? So glad that I'm a racist. Melanin is dangerous. Fucking hate the niggers and the Indians and Asians. Also hate Latinos, they all test my fucking patience. Donald Trump's a hero and I'm in the KKK. Forefathers owned slaves way back in the day. Used to whip them while they praised. Negroes never could escape. They won't see the light of day. White niggas on the top and we consuming all the cake. Set minorities ablaze. Torture people that we hate. This was never a discussion that was up for a debate. We gon' fire more clips in your body just in case. That's another man down, I just beat a fucking case. You can tell me that I'm privileged to my pretty white face, but I know that I'm superior to you because of my race. Of my race. I'm a racist.
justifying my racism.
I'm a racist. I'm a racist. It's a beautiful day to be a racist. Isn't America the greatest?
The world should be all white, top of the world and you all tight. About to hoard all this money cause it's all for one fuck all might. First I'ma take all your neighborhoods, gonna increase what you pay for goods. Then I'ma steal your culture and I'ma make that shit look fabulous. I make the rules and stay breaking them. These bad decisions I'm making them, and I know that I won't have to pay for them. Fuck helping people, we enslaving them. We humiliating, we depraving them. Should be integrating and embracing them, but I take my pleasure in erasing them.
I'm a racist. I'm a racist. It's a beautiful day to be a racist. You should know what isn't America the greatest? So glad that I'm a racist. You ain't nothing but a nigga. You should know what they think about you.
I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera, stop it.
All right. This episode is almost over. It's been amazing, right? It's been great to relive all of these memories. But before we go, I want to introduce you to our production assistant. She's been working on the show for 8 or 9 weeks. She'll probably be able to correct me when I bring her into the room. But it has been so great to have her. I have directed her plays for a company called Rytopia Lab, and I am so excited about her spirit as an artist and as a human. And her final week with us is next week, and it will be a very sad day for us at the Reparations show. But before we get sad, I want to invite her into the room so that we can talk for a second. Come on in, Zoe.
Hi.
Hi. It's Zoe Donovan. That is Zoe
Oh.
Donovan. I didn't let you say your name because I love saying it. So it's really been great to work with you. You have really, really helped me as a person who's much older than you to keep sight of kind of the, not just the details, but also the big picture of the show, because you have helped so much with the details. So rather than ask you how great it's been to work with me, you can just send that in an email.
You already know. You already know. Big long email.
Years from now, when you are providing a reference for me, so that I can do the job, you can say all that then. But I want to know, what are some of your favorite moments that you've witnessed when you worked on the show?
I have to say that one of my favorite shows was definitely Jarvis Tombio's show, just because of especially the first guest that he brought on.
Hi everyone,
How's it going? I mean, I guess you can't respond to me. I could look at the chat, but I'll do that later. Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you to all of my fellow leaders. The noise and craziness of Sixth Avenue. I wanted to first kind of talk about my journey as an artist real quick, because I think that we can't really work through our life's work without talking about our lives. When Jarvis sent me this information, I was really excited about it, and then also felt really weird about it. It's been really hard to write poems in a time where people are dying, in a time where specifically women are dying, specifically Black trans women are dying, and I'm really also, thank you guys so much. Yes, I love my manicure too. And I'm really in a place where I'm trying to figure out how to do the work and also still move out of the way, and let my life be my life, and let the work of keeping myself alive, keeping my sisters alive, advocating for them, is at the center. And so, yeah. With all that being said, I'm going to read maybe one or two poems for y'all. I'm going to uplift the voice of a Black woman who is not with us anymore, first and foremost. And then, yeah, get out of your way. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This is one of my favorite poems, and one of my favorite poets of all time, Akilah Oliver. She is tremendous and just brilliant in all of the ways. This is from a book that she has called the She Said Dialogue. This is called She Said Lost, Lost. Tina Turner on acid, yodeling in Arabic. However goes the night. Yesterday, rubber touched my feet. Seaweed-soaked jeans and pigeons doing sand. Pigeons masquerading as seagulls. Haven't seen them for a long time. Lots of things gone. Bell on an ice cream truck. My favorite line already happened. On the radio, a voice sounds like a teasing 3-year-old, and the porn section goes, na 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 na, all cocky, close-fisted salute. How come nobody mentioned clitorectomy with their dashikis on? Like we were afraid of a close look, a criticism, a rejection of a fixed ritual would pop the bubble. Dreams are fragile like that, concealing as much as they reveal. Colors prescribed in songs, imagining the world as place, fit. You a visitor in a landscape you don't control. I want to know what the eyes smelled at the bottom of the ship. I've seen that look of terror before. Any asshole on the bus can't hang off his butt. X terrorizing a fashion statement on hats and t-shirts. Any Black boy, beautiful or ugly, could be of my blood. One meaning of Blackness. This arbitrariness of circumstance. No, it's all possible and nothing's true. Where is the National Museum's display shit? Wit, neck silencers, iron, chain, mouth bit. If I said the shit, why wouldn't we all immediately have a common reference? Where is the national tongue? The informed language for this thing called slavery. I don't know of anyone who knows the names of their great, 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 great grandfathers, not the mythic ones or adopted ones, the exact people who birthed you. I don't know of anyone who knows the faces of their grandmother's rapists, not any face, the face. I don't know anyone who can sing an old freedom song. Where are the stories of the torture? What did women do with their hair? Where are the fears? What the hell does raw cotton feel like? Bales and bales and bales and generations of it. That was Akilah Oliver. It's from the She Said Dialogue, coming out via Nightboat Book. Yeah, that's all you need to know about that. She's incredible. Please support Black women, Black across the gender spectrum that are alive. It's so loud on Sixth Avenue, guys. Okay, cool. This poem is my own. I tend to read this as an introduction poem. I think that it is the quickest way for someone to get to know me and what I'm about in this life. But that's my main issue. Watching Paul Mooney hum Amazing Grace post 9/11 while eating hot wings from front side. Don't try this at home, by yourself. We're at war and I'm American again, sleeping at 8 like shit. New, visibly cankered, coy, mythologies locked in before morning coffee. There's an order to this. A working list of what makes my teeth white. Dick, chicken, everything but solitude. It's unbearable. 12 niggas going to flight school back. And repercussion is so certain, but you knew that. Peep the joke hiding. I leave him a blues and he leaves me for dead. Who's to say about being pathetic yet functional? You got shoes. I got shoes. I suppose we should be intimate. Maybe just moan at our echoes. It's mostly productive with a punchline involved. I haven't smirked in weeks. Cool. 2 more, then I'll be out of your way. Thank you all so much for listening to all of this noise. I love New York City and all of its ambiance. It's really weird having to do this with you outside on Zoom instead of inside on Zoom. Zoom is weird enough. Or, I mean, yes, on StreamYard, excuse me. I've been Zooming my life away. Here's a sonnet, because I love those. When I think of a noble past breakfast, I get bored. Low budget Bushwick dads beckon when Amsterdam seems most distant. An origin story is hunger. The rest, chronology, tourniquets my traumas into narrative. I'm a nuanced prize. While remorseless, generally devastated, I take walks. Stay cute in a failed logic of endurance. Cock my head skyward to imagine sycamores. A smize underwhelms the drama of fucking strangers for subjectivity. Really, it's pleasant work. Requirements allegedly pink, mostly puckered. Slant rhyme power bottom. Wrapped in occasional goals. Poetic of a power, towering like a quirk, almost a bonus track abad, the kind where they forget to name her. Cool. Let's see. I lied. Let's do 2 more. We feeling good about 2 more? Let me check this chat. Are we doing? Cool. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. All right. Cool. Here we go. 2 more. Like I said. Black trans women deserve to exist, deserve to live, deserve to walk the streets unbothered, deserve to walk Hollywood Boulevard and not get scooters thrown at their heads. Deserve all of the things in this world that America does not see fit to give them. For what reasons, I do not know why, my God. But please, 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 if there is anything that I'm saying beyond these poems that you take with you, it is that these are your sisters. Please, 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 please protect Black women across the spectrum. Seriously, y'all, it's bad. People are dying. People are getting hurt every day. It's getting filmed. It's not a game. For real. Like, let that be the reparations. Let the reparations be our safety. All of us. Anyway, I really love Paris is Burning. Phoenix Extravaganza is one of my favorite people. I was trying to write a poem about her for years. And this one time at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was reading Paul Celan, which is this old Polish poet. Wasn't expecting to get anything from that. And I got a title, and then the rest of this came along. So, yeah, don't doubt inspiration. It comes anywhere. This is My Yellow-Haired Mother Did Not Come Home. So Venus Extravaganza. And I want most to be naked, completely devoid of interior, luxuriously lifelike, exact like a man with a feeling. It's almost Freudian, the way I managed to distract them from themselves. Certain years made of healing and rumination. To keep it fat, I'm a young queen concerned with anatomy, the gears of a graceful sentence, another discourse made obsolete, like my body. Note, I am born, then sneer, quiet as crime collective hero. Of course, we want to talk expectations now, as if the long game failed to propose exchange. Capital is tossing my shadow towards the television. Studio allure, built in opulent archives, and it grows still, my nature, sometimes, when I am pure in the wake of assembly, when I'm a pretty girl, which means I happen, for sure. Ah, poem and mosquitoes. Okay, cool. So this is Reparations show, so I'll end with another sonnet. I've been thinking a lot about slavery, as one does, I guess. And not only slavery, but like the afterlife of. Shout out to Christina Sharp, Beyond Brand, and all of the Black women and femmes who like helped me kind of think through this on the page and off, really. Yeah. Shit's real, y'all. And it expands and it, pushes through in a lot of different places. And so, yeah, this is me trying to, I guess, look at all of the things. This is called To Disembark. It's after Done Like Gone. If you're not familiar with his work, check it out. To Disembark. It stands to reason suffering was last. A score of surface level disasters with intention. Gluten-free for the sake of the textbook. It's July. Someone's tired of the poor. Air quality action day, and no matter the season, me wailing about loss and pentameter. Name a prettier way to plead diaspora. No one commands social death, and yet I comply. Like a Kardashian, my desire on display as transactional, aspartame sweet, immaterial like good credit or closure. And I remain a good boy for you, America, barebacking debt like a man, talking shit about the state on my iPhone. Grand, isn't it, to represent a people only in blame? Cool. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, everyone.
And I also absolutely loved Kyra Sims' show as well, because I don't know, it was just I didn't expect it to be so funny and so like thought-provoking and comedic at the same time. And I just thought that they're like her angle and all the guests that she brought on were just, I don't know, just so engaging and incredible. And just like the little details, like the fact that she read her like 5 horniest poems or something like that.
I also have some music. This is Alice Coltrane, Journey in Sach e Dandanda. I have never had to say that out loud. This is an album I have put on many times in the past for sexy times. And it felt like good music to put on now. Without further ado, here are my top 5 horniest poems. Number 5. Recently, I learned that my heart is like a peach, big, squishy, sweet, full of good things for you. You can handle it with care, or you can squeeze it. Squeeze it so hard it bruises. Squeeze it so hard it breaks. Crush, sopping, sticking to your hands, filling your nose with a thick, sweet scent, the scent of my love for you. However, and this is crucial, you can't break the seed inside where another heart will grow. Now, I think that one is like pretty horny just because of the peach imagery, like the, the peach and then it's sticky nectar. It's horny. All right. Number 4. This is a poem I wrote about Janelle Monáe. The future is a black woman in a man's suit, and she gives no fucks about your boner. That imagery just in itself just makes me horny. So that's why it made the top 5. It's short and sweet. And I think it describes it pretty well, if I say so myself. Poem number 3. And then there was this house where we all lived. Drafty in all the right places, cozy where it mattered. There was a cat that didn't make me sneeze. Bright green eyes, tortoise shell and socks. We make tea, laugh, watch the rain, campaign for the best blanket. They all have dancer's legs, but appreciate my plump softness. We all love one another, but in more ways than one. Now, see, with that one, I wrote that poem after I watched some dancers that I thought were really hot. And I was like, what if we all lived in a house and we just had sex? Poem number 2. I like the shape of you. Rounded corners, joints, muscle. My hand on your back, a pleasing pattern, and a drape of hair that curves above my face. I wrote this one after I had a lot of sex with a Viking. But not an actual Viking, who just that's his heritage, It was great. And then he drove me to the airport. Now, my number 1 horniest poem. I want to hear Mingus chuckling over his bass as your tongue writes me a sonnet between my thighs. I chose that as number 1 horniest poem because it's the most explicit, obviously, but also I wrote this poem when I wasn't really having a lot of sex. So it was also just, I was truly very, very horny. And that was my top 5.
Was incredible and hilarious. And yeah, I think those are the 2 shows that stood out to me the most. But honestly, I've loved every single show. And I think my favorite part is at the end of the show and we all get to talk to each other behind in our little green room.
Oh, yes. So what nobody knows is that at the end of the show, there's always a great tea session in our green room. And there was a lot of tea after that particular episode. So here's my big announcement that I need to make about Zoe Donovan. Zoe Donovan is going to be hosting the show next week. What? It will be a farewell tour for Zoe Donovan for now. Farewell for now to the Reparations show. And Zoe, do you know who's coming on your show?
I do. So I go to Brown University. I'm a rising sophomore, and all of the friends that I asked to come on were all of my grade. And one of them is my friend Morgan. He's a poet. And a former dancer and also a music producer as well. So I've asked him to come on and read some poetry for us. And then my other friend, Jasmine, she is an artist and she has won so many awards. And she just had this online event the other day that was hosted by UMass Amherst, I believe.
Wow.
So she's incredible. She makes these ginormous, she's just one of the most incredible artists I've ever met, and is already so accomplished at 19 years old, which is incredible. And I'm still waiting to hear back from some other friends. But yeah, I'm excited. We're basically, the whole show is all of us thinking about, I was kind of inspired by Kyra Sim's show, actually, which was her theme was a look back. So I wanted to do more of a look forward, since we're all kind of the youngest people that have been on the show.
Yeah.
And the theme is kind of going to be asking our older selves questions, and thinking about that for us individually, but then also thinking about that in terms of what's this world going to look like post COVID-19 and post and figuring out the police brutality problem and all the other issues that are going on with the world. And I don't know, I think I'm just really excited to see what my generation is going to be like as adults, because I think we're going to kick ass. So I think that's really what the show is going to be about.
I can't wait. And I need to say to you right now, because in case you don't know this, you are an adult.
This is true.
You are an adult, but I say that because you are also one of the most responsible young people I've ever worked with, and you are really mature the way you look at the world and the way you have supported me and held me up. It really feels like I have another niece in my life, and a colleague. So it's just really, really, really nice though. So you are an adult, and I can't wait to see who you're going to bring on. And I can't resist bringing you one more poem by Ashley D. Brockington, which was also on Kyra Sims' show. It was one of my favorite moments. So I am so happy to bring it to you right now.
I think the blackest I've ever been was when I was in my mother's belly. Everything was black in there. Black is the color. In the dictionary that I write for you, black will be defined as first, primary. Who thinks black girls are delicious? Agreed. I agree. My artistic life has been one consistent push towards self-acceptance, self-allowing, self-existing, self-creating, self-love, self. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ashley Denise Brockington, and I am a colored girl, Negro, African-American pansexual. I am either heteroflexible or homoflexible. I used to be a fag hag, but I don't think we have those anymore. I'm attracted to gay men, gayish men, liberated men, men who can take a dick, and women. Why am I a performance artist? Why? But why? I've been grappling with this since the get. Grappling. It's like I won't let myself be an artist unless I have a really good reason. Black Ashley, lighten up. Lighten up, Black Ash. I think through my performance, I'm trying to get into, be the truth for myself. And for anyone else that may be in the room. Anyone else who may be feeling a little less than. A little less than, despite evidence that she is pure diva. Girlhood. I can think of the first time I got kicked out of the girls' dressing room for being mistaken as a boy. Ouch! Over and over again. Ouch! Over and over again. Ouch! Tears every time. Looking up at my dad. Oh, the tears welling up. I came of age as a strong Black woman in the whitest place on earth. A well-brought-up child in a well-brought-up neighborhood. Zip code 1 white 0 0 a white. And I remember that day that I separated my sex from my blackness. 1984, 6th grade, Black History Month. Oh, I hated Black History Month. But I loved Katie Anderson. She was Black, Irish, snow white skin, fair, long black hair, like a Disney princess. You know, that effortless Disney princess look. Katie had that. And she was a vegetarian. She was my first vegetarian. Katie, you remember that day in history class? And they were showing us movies of Black people getting eaten by dogs and stuff. You were so sensitive to my feelings that day, Katie. I remember feeling your hot breath on the back of my neck as you sighed. poor Ashley. White patronization is so fucking sexy. Patronize me, Katie. Patronize me, Katie. Oh, Black History Month. Surrounded by misrepresentations of love, beauty, womanhood, teenage passion, I was that lone black nappy-headed child sitting in the front. I always knew the answer. High school. I give myself to anyone who gives me the least bit of attention. I only got raped once, which I think is below the national average for a black girl, so winning. Cut to the Mecca. Howard University, 1989. Walking, stalking in my big black boots, living off the earth, eating herbs and fruits. I was supposed to fall in love with my blackness there. I was supposed to become a revolutionary there. It was 1989, and I was 17 years old, fresh out the house, and living in Chocolate City. Perfect. Living off campus, a check. Light-skinned, bad poetry writing, pseudo-revolutionary boyfriend, a check. 1,000 micro braids with red, black, and green beads. Check, 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 check. I wanted to love Howard like Ta-Nehisi Coates in Between the World and Me. I wanted to see myself reflected in the colors on the yard. It didn't happen that way for me. My barefoot, bindi smoking ass didn't fit in Howard. I wasn't cool in Howard. I might have been cool in the fine arts department where I belonged, but I chickened out and I switched to French literature. Silver lining. Best good sex of my life. First good sex of my life. Thank you, pseudo-black revolutionary. Thank you for teaching me about 40s blunts and female ejaculation. I wanted Howard to be it, but it wasn't. Now what? It's 1994, and I have officially tuned in and dropped out. Spending roughly $1,500 a year traveling the world, I was fucking liberated. A typical day meant waiting on the side of the highway for hours and hours for a ride to wherever and writing all day in a cafe. I was a travel snob, and I wouldn't go anywhere unless I could hitchhike. American highways, European highways, didn't matter. And yes, you could thumb a ride on a 747. It's called Air Hitch. And yes, I did. I was constantly falling in love. Lots of drinking in the park, lots of living in the park, lots of fucking in the park. I was 100% free of responsibility. Responsibility was for capitalists, and I was a bohemian. Actually living in Bohemia, which is the western half of the Czech Republic. How did I make my money, you ask? I identified as a witch, and a witch always had her cards. I could make enough money for dinner reading cards. In a single afternoon, I rocked the box at the coolest clubs in Prague, babysat for American drug dealers, and my faggot husband was the cutest bottom on rentboy.com. We had it made in the shade. Never coming to a theater near you. Existing only in my memory, a simpler time when we used paper maps to travel and strange phone numbers on a matchbook actually turned into a place to sleep. Mwah, tikuza, nazdravie. Dear Stink. I'm like, little Ashley, she's called Stink. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with the way you look. It's just that a long time ago, the people who look like you were moved from one place where everyone looked like them to another place where almost everyone had lighter skin. And that can make a person not understand who they really are. Schism. It can cause a person to lose sight of the fact that each person has value. No worries, no worries, no worries. Because now, finally now, I am my own a magical Negro.
Thank you so much for all of the support for the show. It has been really overwhelming, and it has been such a joy to put it together every single week. We would love for you to donate to the show. Go to Venmo, Frigid New York, and put in the notes, reparations, and that money goes directly to pay the artists who appear on the show. I want to say thank you to all of the hosts who have come on and put their stamp on the show. I want to thank Era Ziv for co-creating it and producing it with me. I really want to thank Morgan Johnson and Joey O'Neill. They are the people you don't see behind the scenes making the videos happen on our live show. And I couldn't do it. We could not do it without them. So thank you, Joey, and thank you, Morgan. Before we go, I'm going to bring you one last thing, and that is our very first host was Azure D. Osborne Lee, and he read a beautiful poem by Ntozake Shange, and we're going to leave you with that poem this week. So until next week, everyone, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and stay liberated.
I'm going to read you a poem from Riding the Moon in Texas, Word Paintings by Ntozake Shange. So this one is called Ancestral Messengers, Composition 11. They told me to travel toward the sun, to lift my feet from the soil, engage myself to the wind and a dance called my own. My legs, wings of lavender and mauve, they carried me to the sun cave, the light, sweet shadows eclipsing our tongues. We spoke of longings, yearnings, the unknown. We spoke in the tongue of a snake, the hoot of the owl, tongues of our ancestors dancing with the wind. We traversed the sun, fully fired violet beings directly overhead the sun cave, lifting me, coaxing my eyes to see as theirs do. Crisp stalking spirits, proud swirling spirits, my blood, they've made themselves a home here. Blood relatives converging wherever my soul is lurking, telling me, now, yes, now, go to the center of the sun. We are sending sepia stallions, headstrong Appaloosas, and cypress carriages to carry you home.